And this, it can't, and Clark County is kind of using this, and they're kind of the first rodeo going on right now. And I'm not married to this language. I mean, it could be a better way of saying it. But if it's something, again, we talked about it, and I didn't get a sound sure footing one way or the other from you, but other than we need to do something. And so I mean, if somebody's got a better idea, or maybe we'll hear a better idea in a couple weeks, I'm open to that too.
Right.
For purposes of reacting, I think it's something it's not too hard to understand. And after Mark and legal counsel take a look at it, there might be some massaging that needs to be done to it. We're going to go on to noise. Okay, in the draft that you have, for some odd reason, it got messed up. And so we had talked about, the only thing that, the draft that you had basically said it's 50 dBA and off-site residence, and nothing was actually changed other than, I did have the second, third paragraph now. But basically, we had talked about following the PUC standard of a 45 and a 50.
Right.
And I missed that. So I was doing things today, and I caught it. And so this is new language. So if you want the board just to take one of these, it's got it on the back couple pages. But basically, what we're saying there is that the noise level shall not exceed 45 dBA, non-participating, because we don't use the term off-site anywhere else in there. And then we did said, but however, it will be at 50 dBA in the second paragraph for 50 for participating, 45 for non-participating. And the noise level is measured using this outlining measurement with 10 minutes, otherwise specified by the board. So we had talked about noise, and I know that's what you had talked about, and I just missed it when I was putting the thing together last week. So I just wanted to call that to your attention, call that to the public's attention as well. And make sure that I had captured that correctly. Currently, your rules are 50 decibels for everybody, but you decide to go to 45 for 50 based on participating and non-participating. What the PUC did in the last two. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So we had talked about this would be from the other quick thing that you could add in here, and I didn't add it this morning because I was just trying to hurry and get things done. The PUC is saying 25 feet from the residence, the principal structure. And we could add that if that's what you wanted to do that. We've got one that would like to do that. Would you guys like to say 25 feet from the structure, principal structure?
I make a motion.
I couldn't remember if I didn't have the notes.
I think that's what it was in there.
Okay, so Bob said, and then you got Carol got a second. Is there general agreement on doing that? I got 1, 2, 3, Mike, 4, 5. Okay, we'll make that change. 25 feet from the structure.
Yeah, that's in the minutes. It's in the minutes.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have the minutes in front of me this morning, and so I was just trying to recall, and of course,
And it's that way for the 50 too.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
That's why I just wanted to confirm that I didn't have the minutes in front of me, and I was trying to put this together this morning. Okay, then one other thing that we didn't talk much about. These are some things that's in the permit information. Letter C is instead of map of occupied, just map including any. It's just a little more grammatically correct. And then we've added within 1 mile of the project area. It's just so when they're doing their reviews, part of that's because we're going to be doing flicker and some of those other things. So we want to take it, even though the footprint might be here, we're going to ask when they're giving us information to look outside the footprint. Does that make sense? And then letter D, here it says preliminary map from wind sites, access roads, final map.
Boundaries should be the paragraph below it.
I'm sorry. Did I miss something?
On the printout that they've got, boundaries received the A, and so then it's shifted out with the alphabet.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's my typo. Sorry, so I'm sorry, so that should be A, B, C, this should be letter D that I was talking about.
Yep.
All right, sorry, it's just A, B. My letter D, your letter E, talks about requiring a final map of wind energy systems. Here it says is required prior to the issuance of any building permits associated with the conditional use. It takes the 60 days prior to construction out. I'm not sure what the magic term of 60 days means. Why? I mean, you don't issue any building permits until you review it, and if you can get the review done in 30 days, and I can tell you where some of that's going on is right now in Clark County. They had that 60-day rule there too, and everything was dry, and the county commission and the county highway super wanted them to get out there and start doing work 2 weeks ago when it was dry, because they knew what's been happening for the last 2 weeks was going to happen. And so they actually went through and they amended their rules so that they could get them out there instead of waiting for days. That was the time of year they wanted them out there working. And so that's kind of where that came from. My E or F, proof of right-of-way easements. And again, we just say that we just need to be submitted prior to construction. We don't want anybody constructing on property that they don't have easement or a right-of-way. And then my G or H basically just reworded that section. Instead of saying project-specific environmental concerns, e.g., hold it, this information shall be obtained by consulting. I just made it something that's a bit easier to read. Evidence of consultation with state and federal wildlife agencies regarding the whole litany things shall be included in the application. It's just the same thing difference. And my letter H would be your letter I. Again, final all road agreements will be submitted 6 days prior to construction. Again, if you can't issue any permits until you get it anyway, so arbitrary 60 days just seems like that arbitrary. And so that was a little bit new that we didn't talk about. Anything there that jumps out at you? Okay, so what's next? I think I'd like to come up with a date to do a public forum where this information can be given to the public for a couple of weeks, digest some more, give them some opportunities to come back with alternate language, what have you, and then they can come and present at that forum. We would set aside a few hours, giving everybody time, depending on the number of people. If we have 100 people here, we might have to limit it to 5 minutes each, but give them 5-10 minutes to present areas or issues that either you didn't discuss, didn't go into, or things that, what you have done that they like or they don't like, whatever, that's what you have. And I'm kind of thinking, what does the first week of November look like? I know you have a meeting on the 13th, but I'd like to try to maybe get it done.
No storm.
Well, I know this election day on Tuesday is the 6th of the election, right? So that would be a good one, just, for a lot of reasons. Maybe, I know, Chris, you were saying you're going to be out of town.
Wednesday, Thursday.
Wednesday and Thursday, the 7th and the 8th. Monday the 5th. That work? It works for me. I mean, you don't have to build it around me. I'll work around you. But I'd like to keep this thing moving forward, because if we have a meeting on the 5th and we have to do a bunch of changes, now we're coming back again, and maybe those changes we talked about at the 13th or whatever, at your regular meeting, or if you guys decide, whatever you decide to do from there, give me the direction. If we can at least get it to the point where we're going through a public hearing in December, it's going to take us, like you see up here, the adoption process itself is at least 45 to 60 days. We have to publish notice 10 days prior to the planning commission hearing. We're probably going to have a planning commission hearing. There'll be an opportunity for public testimony. The planning commission will then make a recommendation to the county commission. The county commission will have a first reading. They'll probably have another hearing, and and then a second reading, and then if they adopt everything that you guys agree with, well then it goes in the newspaper 20 days after that. If you guys recommend something and the county commission goes through their hearings and they decide they want to do something different than you, there's two roads that can go there. They'll either send it back to you again to reconsider what you did, or they can turn around and have another public hearing 2 weeks later and just take action on whatever they choose to do. So if we get rolling by December, it could very well be February or March before everything, worst case scenario, plays out. So if we want to go with the 5th, you want to just do the 4 o'clock thing, starting at 4? Or you want to start at 5? I mean, it's a public. I want to make sure. I want to make sure maybe start at 5:30.
That's going to be a real problem for the farmers, I think, because that's going to, and it involves a lot of them.
No.
I don't know.
If it's raining, it's not a big deal.
We won't know, but the other thing would be,
Yeah,
Could it be worse?
I mean, are you going to advertise it for written comments and that type of thing too? Because some people can just maybe submit.
Well, that's why I was thinking, here we are, we're the 8th. That gives, 4 weeks will be the 5th, which is a little 5 weeks, right? So, I mean, what we would like is that if we were to have written comments, written suggestions based on this or suggested language, I would like to have that a cutoff date so that we can at least assimilate that into some sort of packet so that you've got it, so when people are maybe referencing things or talking about things, that you've got something in front of them. So it's 4 weeks from today, right? So I would say, I would recommend if we go with the 5th, 3 weeks from today would be a cutoff. We would accept written comments that would at least then you can have them a week before the meeting to review. And then that night, maybe we start at 5:30. We'll set up a 3 hours for public testimony, and then based upon the numbers, we can adjust as we go. And then from
Okay, so it's just strictly a listening session.
you guys
And
can.
we won't be taking any action or.
No, there's no
won't be
action,
like a
no
formal-
action. The only thing that might come out of that is that at the end of their presentations, pro and con, I'm going to ask you, did anything come out of here that a consensus of you want me to bring back or investigate?
And then we discuss it then at the next meeting?
Well, it depends on what happens. I mean, you guys might turn around and listen, you might listen to 3 hours of testimony and 1,000 pages worth of stuff that gets submitted between now and
It takes
then.
a lot to digest.
You guys might either just say, I think we hit it out of the park, we're going to go with it, or you might say, you know what, Todd, would you take us, we want to come back and revisit these 7 items. Then I would say, well, we'll come back and we'll have another meeting, and then based upon that, you're going to tell me what you want me to do. I wouldn't be looking at, I wouldn't be having, I mean, your brain can only tolerate what your butt can put a hand in the stand, right? And so after 3 hours, you're gonna be tired, and I'm gonna ask you, okay, what came out of this? Give me the bullet points. Just the bullet points.
Just what we need,
And then I'm gonna ask you, is there consensus from the board for me to do it? Because if there's no consensus from this board for me to spend 30 hours or 20 hours working on this, I'm not going to. But if there's consensus that, Todd, you need to come back and look at these 5 things, I'll come back with some alternate language, we'll have another work session, work our way through that, then you're going to tell me what to do from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Any other questions of me regarding, I know what my marching orders are, I just want to make sure we're all on the same sheet of music. Okay, well, I will work with Krista, we will get a notice for the newspaper. It'll go out at least, probably in another week or so. We'll get that in the newspaper, just inviting people. Maybe we'll try to get something on the radio station, public service announcement or something along that line. And then we will accept, Krista will accept suggested language changes up until 3 weeks prior to the meeting. Up until 1 week prior to the meeting. So 1 week prior to the meeting, she will get that to me. We will post that. Any proposed changes, we'll have a separate section on the website that just says reactions to proposed ordinance or something like that. And that way you guys can start looking and checking the website periodically so that you don't feel inundated 3 weeks from now. And you, I mean, it's great bedtime material, but we want you to reading it before then. So
that would place it as the 29th of October, Monday.
Monday the 29th would be the cutoff date. As far as, I mean, people can bring more stuff the night up, but there's no guarantee that there's going to be any review. Okay, anything else for me? That is fair, I'm done.
All right, thank you. Is there any reason for an executive session?
Better open it now, that I'm aware of.
Oh, I skipped over a couple things, yeah.
Well, it's good to get that out of the way right now.
We don't need an executive session. All right, we'll take the open address to the planning commission. At this time, and we have 3 people.
Yep, Christy Mogan, Mark Mollisberger, and Amber Christensen.
Okay, Christie?
Bill Street showed up late. He's got something to say. Is that going to be all right?
Yeah.
Let's take on that.
I'm okay. Yeah.
Bill can have my time. I'm now that Todd informed us that we could provide written notes. That's what I'll just do. I'll follow Todd's procedure.
And actually, I'm going to hold a lot of mustard to do the same thing, so I'll submit written notes. I just wanted to know if there was a problem with the computers today, because the agenda is still not online for tonight.
I've seen it on.
Did you just pull it up, Amber?
I just looked on, I didn't see it.
And it wasn't there
It's been
yesterday?
posted for 2 weeks.
I pretty swear I saw it on there last week.
Okay.
Pretty
Had a few
sure
people
I
look, and over the weekend we looked.
There's one column for minutes and then there's one column
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Did you get the economic information from Todd Case that you asked for?
Was that on in the,
We've got some, we've made some inquiries, we haven't received the information.
thanks for bringing that up.
Okay.
You're talking about the counties, what they've received.
Right, actually, and I've done that work, so I could even help out with
If you
that.
wanted, that would be great. I've made a couple requests, we just haven't received anything.
I spent 2
Busy
hours.
Busy time of the year for auditors, and so.
I spent 2 hours on the phone with the Department of Revenue for the state of South Dakota, so I can get that for you.
That would be fine.
One of my concerns about that, though, is that this is about public and people, and I don't want us to put the money ahead of people, and I'm very concerned about that. Okay, that was one of my comments. The other thing is that I was really glad that Todd used the term tonight, arbitrary, on that 60-day, because arbitrary is a huge issue that's going to be happening here. And these numbers are just coming out of the air on some of these things, like the 45 dBA. And it is being used at the PUC. However, the PUC right now is listening to docket 1826. The results after that docket, the PUC might say 40 dBA, or they might actually finally go to some science. So is this board going to then make it so that we're using science, or every time the PUC makes it a little more strict, that our community will also get those protections? So we're wondering, when you say 50 dBA, 45 dBA, 40 dBA, where's your science? So we're asking, please consider how you're writing this ordinance and get your science. One of the best places, I brought it up last time, was the American National Standards Institute. I submitted to Krista today some information on that.
Posted today.
Yeah, okay. I didn't get a chance to look at that because I was busy this afternoon. But that is science, okay? And PUC is going to be hearing a few more of these dockets. Each time they get more information, they get to understand it a little bit more. And the people are all talking about public health and safety. And when they put the dollars in front of us, we go away, you have no tax base then, except for turbines. So we're asking for you guys to really consider what you're doing and use science and not use some arbitrary number that just came out of the air, especially on the
We already have
noise.
a question, right? Isn't that part of,
If
so,
you want a question.
I do,
Yeah.
because I have a question on that. So you're saying that there's evidence that people have moved away when wind towers have come in?
Yes.
Could you show me those numbers in the counties?
Um,
And show me scientific base numbers that say populations have decreased in the areas where wind towers have come in?
I submitted just last month.
Due to the wind towers?
Yes, in fact, last month I submitted that the Minnesota, they don't call it PUC over there, MPCA made a turbine company purchase 2 homes so those people could move away. Falmouth, Massachusetts has been in litigation.
I'm not talking about Massachusetts, I'm talking about,
Well, the wind tower.
But there's turbines there, there's turbines there and people had to move away, okay?
Yeah.
I
Canada,
know they are, Bob, but
Okay.
we're talking about South Dakota.
Well,
And we're talking about facts that we can try to get our arms around, not just facts that are pulled out of that it happens here or there.
I agree, and so we do have it documented. We do have it documented, and I've been submitting that online, okay? And we went to Minnesota to look at a turbine, which I will also submit this marked up because this is full of incorrect information. It is full of it. And Todd, there is your logo on the front of that. It is.
I had no
Okay.
idea that, I have no idea where that came from. If you ask Roger Solom, I don't know why it's there.
Okay,
I had no
so
idea it was there.
I had to use the information I had, but this is full of incorrect information, and if you're basing your decisions on this, that's wrong. But we went to Minnesota to look at a turbine. We didn't stop at the South Dakota. We went right by there 1 mile in Toronto, and I can tell you, people there are being stuck with them. I have a couple, I will see if they will come up the next meeting and testify that they moved from the turbines, and now they're getting turbines where they just moved to.
I have one question. If we bring people that live by turbines, have them drive down here and testify in front of you, will you listen then? Because I can find people who have moved out of their homes or have
South Dakota people.
South Dakota people that have moved out of their homes and have left due to turbines or abandoned their homes and they sit empty, and even probably find you some participating landowners who no longer live in their homes. They have turbines and they live elsewhere and their homes set empty. Will you listen to that? If we bring them in, go through the expense of bringing them in, will you
Evidence
listen?
from both sides.
That's evidence. So
Yep.
just so if you're asking for it, we'll bring it. If you don't listen to
Anyone's
these
willing.
people, it will be
I
heartbreaking
think these are
for them.
open public forums. Right?
Okay, I'm just asking because if you're demanding that we bring that information to you
I'm not demanding.
and you not find it, you said you wanted proof. So if we bring you the proof, are you going to be
Right.
willing to listen to it and understand that it's right in front
That's
of you?
testimony, that's their
Testimony.
testimony.
Testimony,
Yes.
so you're asking for testimony. I'm just double checking because,
I will get you some
yeah,
information of people who have moved because of this. And it is the noise and the infrasound, the low frequency noise, and there is medical testimony that will be coming up
yeah.
on this docket that is being heard. It started today. If you want to learn a lot about the turbines, tune into that. It's on you can just go to the PUC website. It's live. You can listen to it in the evening like a podcast, and you will learn tons about what's going on. Thank you for your time.
the only thing I had to say, because what I wanted to talk about was answered. The emails, Todd, I didn't get an email and she didn't get an email. I don't know what happened to the list
It was the list that Krista had sent me, and I in turn,
we signed up for, and we aren't
Several
on there,
times.
so.
Sometimes we get it and sometimes we don't.
I've
I
never
don't
gotten
know,
one.
I don't know, we just, Krista sent me the list, I turned around, sent her back the document, and then she sent out
And it's a large group, so a lot of times that'll get spammed, so look in your,
could've got spammed,
Oh,
could've got
I
fat
checked.
finger.
I look at that, yeah.
Yeah, I'll
So
check it too.
And it came from Krista. I did get one.
Okay, well,
We didn't
I
get it.
apologize, I mean,
Well, that's okay, I just would like it rectified, is what I'm saying.
well, if you would you email Krista personally?
Yep.
Krista will resend it to you individually to see what happened without the group, just to see what happened.
Okay,
That maybe there's something going goofy there.
Yeah, I
Again,
just don't think
I don't
maybe I
understand
got
how
added.
TV works, let alone the internet, so.
a lot of times people type com instead of net on the back of mine, so that could be the problem.
And it
Double
could
check
have got
that.
transcribed wrong
Yep.
when everything was
Yep.
done.
Yep.
Did you write
But yeah,
Oh, no, I
if
won't.
you or anybody else you know